Welcome, welcome! It's Mud Dog with the Texas Space Navy bringing you another Star Citizen video. And today I thought I would bring you my first impressions of the Tobii Eye Tracker 5. I just picked this thing up. It was on sale. It was 25% off. Unfortunately, the sale's not going on anymore, so you may have to wait for the next one if they do have another one. But I decided, oh, why not? Give it a shot. Now, I have had experience with Track IR. I do have that. But I'm not a real big fan of the Track IR because I have to recenter the tracking quite frequently with it. Now that is something that Tobii does pretty well on its own. It's able to recenter the tracking fairly easily for you. There are some things you have to get used to. Now, as you can see, I started this off by using it in FPS and looking around, which can give you some gorgeous shots and whatnot, but I definitely advise you go in and tweak a lot of settings in the settings menu, and you're gonna have to play with it for quite some time. I do not have mine set where I want it just yet. Again, this is my first impressions. Literally, I just unboxed the thing 45 minutes ago, so take this review with a grain of salt. There's plenty of reviews out there for you guys to check out. Morphologist has a good one, and Board Gamer probably has one. Nubifier has one. I mean, there's all sorts of different Tobii eye trackers. Space Tomato, and there's a lot of good ones out there. So definitely check out some of those if you're interested in this product. I'm not saying don't check mine out, because I'm just going to give you my raw first impressions, like I do with much of my videos. I just give you my straight up thoughts and feelings on it. So, it's kind of cool how you can interact with your Mobi glass, but that's definitely something that would take a lot of tweaking to get it to where it cooperates kind of the way you would want. Now, part of my problem may be that I'm on a 49-inch super ultra wide monitor, so I could look a long ways to either side of my monitor so it can move quite easily. Now, if you're on a smaller monitor, maybe it'll cooperate a little more, but I think it's going to require quite a bit of tweaking to get the Mobi glass to move the way that you want it to. I would also make sure that you have a toggle button set. That way, if you want to turn off the tracker, or turn off the head tracking, you can do that with just a simple press of the button. Because it can get disorienting and it's not super great in FPS. Now, I will tell you, it works pretty darn good in the pilot seat, which I will show you here in a few moments. I'm going to show you a couple different scenarios in the pilot seat, and then also doing an FPS mission. You'll see a little bit of use there as well. So here you can see I'm in the pilot seat. You can look all around your cockpit. If you move your head forward, it'll kind of make the perspective move forward. Back, it'll go back. If you tilt your head to the side, it'll tilt it, look sideways, and so on and so forth. And it does a really good job of keeping track of your eye movements. Now, how far away do you have to be sitting away from this thing for it to work fairly well? In my current setup, I'd say no more than a foot and a half, maybe. That's probably about where I would say the cutoff is. Maybe 2 feet. 2 feet might be, it's somewhere in between a foot and a half and 2 feet is where you're looking at the longest range that you want to be away from this thing. And you put it at the bottom of the monitor, and then you will actually calibrate it, which is super simple. I mean, the whole setup process is absolutely simple. So, like I said, you set it up, you Velcro it to your monitor, then there's a stand that you'll Velcro to it, and then there's a magnet on the back of it that will stick to the stand. So you'll put your Tobii eye tracker in that magnet, and then you just plug it in and just go download the Tobii drivers, the latest ones, and that will start setting everything up for you. And like I said, it's really easy. Once the software is up, you calibrate, and my goodness, it's as easy as looking at 1, 2, 3 dots. It takes less than a minute to do. It's really like I said, super simple to set up. I would also use the toggle for flight in case you kind of get annoyed with it, but you will get used to flying with the Tobii eye tracker quite quickly, because it really is beneficial in dogfights, as you can kind of see a little bit more where your enemy's going. You can track them in the sky around you a little easier. I found that to be something that was really nice. I did not try it in racing. Legacy instructional instructional videos or whatever. They're a great little Star Citizen tool that you can use to go out there. They teach you how to fly and stuff. I plan on trying to use some of their tutorials for racing. I used to be a really good racer back in the early flight models, and then when they changed the flight model on me, I've just not put the time in to regain that skill. And some of those guys are pretty phenomenal, so I definitely want to get back and maybe try some of their tips and tricks, especially after the butt whooping Mongrel gave me this weekend. Mongrel Squad really tore me a new one, so I want to make sure my flight game is on, well, it's good. I want to be good. So it's going to take some adjustments and a lot of time in the cockpit. Back to the Tobii eye tracker. Again, I found that it was really nice after doing a few dogfights. I was able to keep track of my targets a lot easier than without it. The in-game target look, or if you want to call it that, can be really annoying because you can't break off from that if you're using it. Whereas if you're using the eye tracker or head tracking, you can follow around, as much as you want to. Something that I don't know how many people have reviewed this have actually brought up is, since this thing is at the bottom of your monitor, anytime you look down at your keyboard for a keybind press, your eye tracking is going to look down. So you'll be looking at your flight stick in the game. Also, if you have to scratch your nose, or everybody has these tics where they touch their face a lot. That's just human nature. But if you have to do anything like that and it gets up in the line of sight of the Tobii tracker, it will act like it's kind of cut off. And mine tended to look straight down when that would happen. I don't know exactly why it reacted that way, other than it just kind of broke the line of sight to my eyes, maybe. So that's something to keep in mind. It can be a little annoying, but as long as you know what's going on, you can kind of get through it. Again, I never really had to recenter this that often. I did recenter it a couple times just to see, what kind of effects it would have on the starting location, so to speak, in relation to my eyes and head. But really, this thing is pretty awesome. I think it's the best head or eye tracker I've ever experienced or ever seen, and I can see this really benefiting a lot of people in a lot of different ways, a lot of different genres, games, real life stuff. So yeah, I would highly suggest taking a look at this thing if you are halfway curious. Is it worth the amount of money you pay for it? Well, again, this is my first impressions, so that will have to wait and see, but I can tell you right now that I have a feeling I'm going to be using this thing a lot for dogfighting or flying. I have not used it on my camera angles yet, which I've heard is actually really phenomenal use for it. Again, I have not tweaked the settings all that much. I changed a little bit here and there, but again, I keep saying the same things over and over. I think it's going to be a good buy for you guys who are curious about eye tracking and how it works. I can see this thing really benefiting a lot of people. I know, again, I'm going to use it a lot during dogfighting, but there are some times that it's not going to be super beneficial. And that would be in FPS, like you're going to see here. I'm going in on this cave mission, and I have the eye tracker on. Of course, there's some artifacts going on with the well, the lighting in the cave, and with the scope on this Aztec lightning bolt rifle. But I'm going to show you a little bit different. So here is no Tobii eye tracker. You know, I'm really quick to get the shots down range, get a few hits. This guy was able to return fire, and I was bleeding out quite quickly. And then here in a second, I will turn the eye tracker on so you can see movement around. See, now it's on. So the movement around, you can look around you, but it's a little disorienting. And if you don't have the exact, I guess, the exact settings that you want, it could be a tad sensitive. So you may really spend a lot of time working on these settings. And I recommend going into a different game mode even to do it. But yeah, all in all, I think this is a good buy. I'm going to enjoy using it. We'll use it some more, and I'll bring it, you know, into some other videos. Maybe I'll have you guys guess, hey, when are you using and when are you not? I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I really do appreciate you guys tuning in once again to my video. You guys are awesome. I'm Mud Dog with the Texas Space Navy. I'll see you out in the verse.